It's absolutely lovely that we could do this. We got two guests right now in the studio with us. We're going to have two more a little bit later. But to introduce us, this week, Momentum World are inviting young people to engage with others to talk openly about their thoughts on an issue they care about. Time for Tea is taking place tomorrow, and here with us to tell us more, we actually have Andrew and Paul from Momentum World, each joined by one of our lovely European placements. So now we're going to first start with Andrew and Mel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, got it right. Thank you. Just want to make sure I get it right. Thank you for coming in today. I know it's more chaotic than normal, even for us here at Chaos, but we've managed to all cram in. We've all managed to get in. Where do I start? Andrew, thank you obviously for coming in today. Could you tell us a little bit about Momentum World?
Yeah, thanks, and lovely to be back in Chaos again. Momentum World we've been a partner of Chaos for the last 4 years or so, I suppose now, and the purpose of our organisation is to create international opportunities for young people. That's basically what we do. We do that through European projects, through volunteering, through training courses, and all kinds of other things. Anything that has an international dimension, that's us. And obviously it's lovely to be here with Mel, who's one of the volunteers we've brought into Chaos through the European Solidarity Corps programme. With a number of your friends, I think, Mel, as well. So that's what we do, all kinds of international things. We have opportunities still coming up all the time in youth work, in education, environment projects, of course, becoming more and more important as well, and the creative type of projects as well. So there's a lot. There's a lot.
Now, there are a large range of placements that you mentioned, all offering brilliant opportunities within the company. What are the benefits of those international experiences?
I think everybody knows that young people in school may tend to get a kind of an academic and quite a narrow type of education. Many young people who don't have opportunities outside of where they live can live in quite a narrow environment. And it's absolutely fantastic if you can take people out of that environment, mix them up with people from totally different cultures and backgrounds and countries. And the life-changing opportunity that represents is second to none. We've seen in the many, many years that we've been operating, young people's lives absolutely transformed. And the person that comes back is not the same as the person that goes. So, and that applies whether you go for a 1-week youth exchange or, as Mel is doing, a whole year in a foreign country. And of course, if you can get the whole year, well, that's probably the best thing that you can do out of all.
You can learn so much as well from different people from different places as well, can you? I find if you stay around the same type of people as yourself, you never really learn anything different, do you? About the world, about different people, about each other. You get such a wealth of experience just from other people, don't you?
Absolutely, and I think one of the things we often tell people on our leadership programs is, if you want to build a good team, find people who are different from yourself. And I think one of the great things about Chaos is the celebration of diversity that you get in Chaos, and the way that that's being promoted in Cornwall. Well, on an international level, you can do it even more. So we're absolutely committed to diversity in all its forms.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk a bit more about, obviously, Time for Tea. Where did this idea for conversation come from? What was your inspiration? Because just talking back a bit as well, we've been doing a little bit of this sort of thing here at Chaos with CTEC Plus. We've had a little bit of talk about sitting down and talking with each other. Is this a similar sort of thing as that?
Yeah, it's slightly different. At Time for Tea, and my colleague Paul in a little while will probably tell you a little bit more about how it works in practice. But Time for Tea came from the idea of how you get young people thinking about global issues. But then it went on not only global but also local issues. How do you give young people a voice in an effective way? And it's been interesting in the last few years that we've seen particularly Greta Thunberg's huge global movement, starting off with school strikes about the environment. Now, there's no doubt that's the most important topic that's going to face us for the coming future.
Of course.
But a lot of adults were saying, yeah, but kids should be in school. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be out on the streets. They need to be in the classroom. We think that's not entirely right, because clearly young people deserve a voice on the issues that are going to affect their future. But how do you do that? How do you give them a structure to enable that to happen? And what we've come up with Time for Tea is an activity that is structured, that can fit within the school context or outside it. So it's very accessible, manageable, great for young people, but also acceptable, I think, in a new way for adults. What it's about is young people choosing an issue that matters to them. And this can be a group of people of any age, any ability, anywhere in the world. They choose an issue and decide what they want to say about it, and decide who they want to hear them. And that might be the president of their country, it might be the mayor of their town, it might be the head teacher of their school, it might be their friends, it might be the community, it doesn't matter. They'll find out who they want to hear about it. So they'll decide their message, and then the tea comes into the picture, because they'll get a packet of tea and then create their own packaging for that in the most imaginative way that they possibly can. Create the packaging which incorporates the message. And then the third stage is they're going to deliver that beautiful package of tea with their inspiring message to the people that they want to hear them. And it's quite amazing that the receptiveness that you get, because the beauty of tea is that tea is something, when we all know, when you sit and you have a cup of tea, you stop what you're doing and you drink your tea and you think a little bit. And it's the perfect time to get somebody to listen to you. So you have your tea and you're listening to the voice of the ideas of the young people. Also, tea is something that's not quite universal, but it's in the majority of cultures, I would say, around the world. So it brings people together. And also, it's, in terms of young people talking to older people, talking to people in positions of authority, tea is the medium for a non-confrontational discussion. So people are very open, and it's a great way for people to talk across generations. And that could be within your family just as much as it could be with politicians, for example.
I suppose it sort of brings a similarity as well. Like you said, tea is such a widely known and loved thing that you can find that middle ground, even if it's something as simple as a cup of tea. But a cup of tea, like you said, makes you stop and think. So it's sort of a perfect medium, like you said. I really like that. That's
yeah, I mean, and it really works. I mean, we've already run the pilot projects for this in about 20 countries around the world. They're increasing all the time, and for me, working with Chaos, I'm from Cornwall, so I'm really happy to see this starting off in Cornwall as well. So
that's brilliant. Yeah. Whether you've had a good day or whether you've had a bad day, it all comes round to a cup of tea.
You won't find me without a cup of tea, to be honest.
Now, Merle, I want to bring you into the conversation as well, obviously, with your experience with Momentum World and everything. Not just the Time for Tea event, but how has your experience been so far?
It is absolutely incredible. It's so amazing because we get so many opportunities within this one big opportunity. So when I applied for this placement, I was expecting a lot of farm work, but also social work, and it happens that I am based on the farm, so I spend a lot of my days on the farm doing horticulture and gardening work. But I'm also here, and whatever I want to do, I can just talk to Babs or the people that care for me, and it's really nice because I get to try out so many stuff and have a little insight into every single aspect of Chaos, which is really great experience.
I'm not going to lie, if you get a chance to speak to Babs, tell me how you do that, because she's a whirlwind of energy that just disappears out the door before you get a chance.
Well, she sometimes drives us to Truro, so we get a 30-minute
car
ride
wow,
to talk to her.
That's it, get her to give you a lift.
Lock her in.
So that's what we need to do, we need to get rid of our vehicles. Say, Babs, please lift. No, that's really lovely though, it's really fantastic. Have you ever done anything like this before?
Well, I have volunteered in a charity, but not for 8 months. It was just like something I did alongside school. So this is my very first experience abroad and my very first charity experience of that kind.
And is there, obviously, you said you've enjoyed your experience and everything so far. Is there anything still left on your sort of bucket list as such to do whilst you're here?
Oh, a lot of things. Like Cornwall's such a beautiful place to be. We've got a lot of things that we definitely want to see. And in general, I would just say keep doing what we're doing and learn more about everything that Chaos does.
It's lovely to see such a smiling face about this as well. You
Yeah,
can see
is.
you really enjoy it. We've got a great short animation now from a Momentum World with a bit more information about Time for Tea. When we come back, we'll be with Paul and Leonie to talk more.
Using Powtoon.
Big thank you to Andrew and Merle, obviously, for chatting with us. Joining us now, though, is Paul and Leonie. Thank you both for the quick changeover and rush in. It's not like it's magic behind the scenes. It was just a very quick out and in. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. It's great to be here. What a brilliant setup.
Powered by chaos, believe me.
Now, we had a little insight from Andrew and Mel before we talked a little bit about the Time for Tea, and I know we've just had a little animation as well. What is on the agenda for tomorrow? Can you tell us a little bit more?
So, we, as part of the intellectual outputs for the project, the international project that we're running, we've got to do some 360 filming. So we're going to try and tell the story of Time for Tea and what Time for Tea is through some 360 videos that are filmed in 360. So we thought the best way to do that is to get a group together, take them through the process, and we'll get our amazing volunteers here to actually tell us what Time for Tea is. So we've got a very quick sort of project tomorrow. It's not a lot of time, but we're going to do some very creative work around 360 cameras.
Wow, incredible! So that's not exactly the easiest of things to do. So
No.
see it in your face. There's a little bit of panic
Fear.
in there, just a little bit. Of fear. So, what big issues do you think there might be for young people to discuss?
I think, COVID. Need we say any more, really?
Yeah.
I think everybody has struggled during the last 2 years or so. It's been a very difficult time for people's mental health, people's employment, relationships. So there's going to be a lot of things for people to talk about. There's going to be lots of issues. And I think Time for Tea is a really good mechanism for allowing people to actually present those issues to somebody that can help them address those issues.
And who would you say can actually get involved in the programme? Because it does sound like it'd be a great idea for maybe schools to take part.
Yeah, I think the beauty of Time for Tea, it just crosses over. We've worked with special educational needs groups, young people with quite profound disabilities, all the way through to university graduates and adults. The mechanism, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you're coming from. Time for Tea, there is a role, and you can use that process for getting your voice heard.
So, are these stories and conversations going to be shared? And is there a way to sort of link these groups together?
I mean, we've got the website. It's time4t.info. That's the Time for Tea website. And what we aim to do is showcase interesting stories on there. So any stories that come up, we can put them on the website.
Perfect. And obviously, we're talking a lot about what's going to be going on and that tomorrow. Leonie, I want to bring you into this. How are you feeling about it all and your involvement?
I'm very happy to be here, and it's a best choice for me to come here, so I have no regret about this, and so very happy to be here.
Awesome. Is there any topics that you would like to discuss specifically?
No? I don't know.
Living in a strange country during strange times. Yeah, always things to talk about.
There is, and obviously we spoke to Merle as well about how he's been feeling about the experience of coming here. Are you in general, your experience with Momentum World and Chaos and having fun?
Yeah, really. Like I finished university for me, and I was like, okay, I don't know what to do now, and I don't want to work right now because I don't know in which companies or whatever. And I was like, okay, so let's try this, and I'm so happy, and I love everything I'm doing here because it's so different every day, and I meet a lot of new people, amazing people, and so yeah, it's very, very good.
I think you've just described how I feel about Chaos entirely, really. It's lovely. Get to meet nice people, lovely people like yourselves. Get to do different things, sometimes weird and wacky, but you never know, every day. And it is lovely. Like I was saying earlier, it's great to meet new people. It's great to meet sort of different thinking people, different types of people. It helps us all grow together, I think, as a community, and sort of look for the better of the world and everyone in it.
There's something quite magical when you walk through the door here. You know, I came when this studio was being built last time, and the welcome was just equally as good. I think Babs just brings a level of energy to this place, and it resonates. It resonates, doesn't it? It just spreads out, and I think you need those people. You know, you need those people to run projects like this. So I love coming here, to be honest.
I think the dictionary definition of energy is just Babs. I say it time and time again. She's called Worldwide Babs for a reason. But yeah, she does. It's absolutely brilliant. And everyone here, all the volunteers, everyone that works here in every single sense, it gives you that sense of community and family of working together for the better of the world. And I've said it before, I feel like it should be what we should be doing outside of Chaos as well as obviously internally. Leonie, coming back to you, are you happy to see sort of this platform being given to young people to sort of share their thoughts and opinions?
Yeah, I think it's important because like the 20s are not the simple age like people can think about, because you have to find yourself, what you want to do and where you want to go, and so having discussion about this is very important. So I think it's really a good idea.
Sometimes it can feel a bit rushed, can't you?
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of pressure of everything, and you're like, oh god. So yeah, it's very, very good.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're glad that you're having positive experience in that so far. Paul, I want to ask you as well. Obviously, we've got you here today. We want to give you the opportunity to talk about anything you want to bring up and talk about. We've talked about Time for Tea already. Is there anything else sort of that you want to bring up or discuss with us? And
no, just to let Pudge know that the last time we spoke, mental health motorbike, you know, we was coming to actually sort of come and meet with you, and we was on a round the south coast sort of trip, and I think the weather changed, we couldn't get down here, so it was something that I wanted to do, is come and see you. But since we spoke, the mental health motorbike is now a national charity.
Amazing.
We're reaching thousands of bikers now, and the team's
brilliant.
Grown, and obviously that's something that we will work with Chaos and our organisations to look at mental health generally. You know, it's a big issue. And our charity specifically is working with the biker community, but that resonates across non-bikers as well. So we work with families, we work with their children. And yeah, I think everybody would agree that sort of COVID's given us a lot of problems to deal with. So mental health is very high on the agenda. So yeah, it's finally great to meet you.
Yeah, exactly, in person.
Yeah,
I see so many people, I even forget sometimes who I'm meeting. I'm like, yes, I'm sure I've seen this person before. Now it's just sort of put up a face to a name. I did it with I guess just now as well. I'm just thinking, where have I met these people for?
You were talking bikes the first thing this morning as well.
I was. We actually talked about it, and then it's gone straight out of my head. It's Chaos. It's just Chaos as it is, you know. Well, look, thank you.
Yeah, just to round off and just say a very big thank you for having us down here. I think it's great because they don't normally let Andrew and I out of the office. You know, to come and meet people and see Leonie and Merle, sort of just in their element here. That is what that's our job, is to make sure that we can sort of create the partnerships between organisations and young people. And it sounds like this one's really working, so very, very happy.
It's lovely to see all the smiling faces around, because everyone seems so happy and passionate about what they're doing in different sections, but also connecting all these different organisations and groups together, which it's got to be key to all of this. We can't just do little pods here and there that don't help connect each other up. It's like a lot of energy into one section, and then someone doesn't know where to go, and it can be that all that energy and help can be lost, and there's no point, is there? There you go.
It's exciting times.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, a massive thank you, obviously, to you both, and obviously to the previous two for coming on to chat with us today, and a big thank you to Momentum World, obviously all the amazing work they do. Only decision left to make is which biscuits to bring for Time to Tea. You can tell who wrote this, don't you?
Yeah,
It's Henry.
I'm a dunker, so
You only drink a hot drink with a biscuit
Coffee.
anyway, don't you? And that's it. Once you're out of a biscuit, you don't.
chocolate digestive every time.
Yorkshire
Don't
tea.
ask.
Just remember, it has to be Yorkshire tea.
Good Yorkshire
Yorkshire
tea.
tea.
Sorry, we've sort of digressed. We had a question for the nation a little while back, a few, what was it, last week, and it was all about different hot drinks, and it keeps coming back to that now. Could you just remind us quickly, where can we find more information on Time for Tea Day?
So Time for Tea is www.time,
Mhm.
number 4, tea, time4tea.info.